What is going on, guys? My name is Chaos Pro for those that are new, and we're going to be doing something a little bit different today. We're actually going to be doing a tier list based on strictly my opinion on the Marvel Rivals characters, and we will also be throwing in their team-ups. I managed to reach Diamond, high ranking area in the Marvel Rivals beta, and in the alpha I also reached the top 500. I did reach the top 500 in the beta for a short time in the beginning, and then as time went on it was definitely stretched out further, but by the end of the beta I did manage to score into the Diamond 3 range, and I was able to play against a lot of fantastic players. So with that being said, I really do think I have a really good grasp of what was competitive and what was not. Some of these opinions are subject to change. Like I said, this is just my initial reaction. I had around 70 to 80 hours of playing, the beta, and I really liked it. And I pretty much tried about everyone, aside from a couple that just didn't really interest me at all. But I'm going to go ahead and basically do this tier list, so I'm really excited to do this. If you guys can, please, beforehand, if you guys could like, subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more Marvel Rivals, and I'm still going to continue to do a lot more Marvel Snap content on this channel, so let's go ahead and lock in. All right, so we're going to start it off with the tanks, all right? I'm going to initially start off just in order that we have here. I know my camera's kind of blocking, Namor down here, but as we go, it's going to move, the slide around, so you're going to be able to see. I'm going to keep this as an S, an A, B, C, and D tier. S being just absolutely the best. And we're going to initially start off with tanks, then we're going to go DPSs, then we will do, the support / healers, and then we will categorize the team-up abilities just separate after everything is done, but we will keep it a part of the main tier list. So we're going to start it off with the Hulk. I'm like on the fence about the Hulk. Now, the Hulk, in terms of competitive use, with the right team, he's actually pretty good if you really want to go in on dive. From my experience, a well-designed or well-played Hulk actually complements Venom very, very well. Some of the things that you could actually do was you could do basically Venom dive, you jump in, and then there's that cooldown effect where you have to wait for his grapple hook and his slam. Venom's gonna eat up a lot of damage, and so what happens is when Venom has his cooldowns, Hulk is actually able to go in there and strategically plop his bubbles out, which basically give anyone near the Hulk, essentially invincibility for a short time, just because the bubbles are taking the damage and your teammate is not. This actually buys time for Venom to actually get out. So Hulk, in the hands of someone that doesn't know how to play, he's not very great. He is a brawler, and at close range, you don't really know how to use his stun effect where he shoots gamma out. I want to put him at B, but in the right hands for competitive use, he's actually not the worst. I'm tempted to put him at A, but for now, I'm actually going to put him at B, just because he is very limited on the team-up abilities. Dive-wise, he's really good with Venom. He's really, really good. He allows Venom to get out. He was also able to actually go in, stun, like, for instance, a healer, and then you and Venom can just work on that other guy, and then basically, when that guy is basically unstunned, you kill one guy off, as then you would basically teeter-totter over. If both of you guys are running low on health, or whatnot, if the Venom has to escape, then the Hulk can escape, and you can kind of do these, step by, left foot, right foot kind of, dives in order to get in, get out, to create space. Overall, the Hulk is actually a pretty solid off tank, as you would say, so I'm going to put him at B. I'm actually not going to put him as the worst. Sadly, I actually saw there was some really solid viability with him. Next up on the list is going to be Venom. Venom, in general, I do think was and I think there's two tanks in this current game. I think Venom is honestly the best tank. I would put him as S tier, only because I genuinely think that although he was great, he was a bit overtuned And I do think that his whole kit is fine. I think what really made him actually way too good was his shield ability. He has an adaptive shield, which allows him to get, shield base per damage taken. The lower the damage, the more shield you would get. I think it was always capped off at like a specific percentage of health. Like if you just used it, you got to a certain health point. But the thing is when you go and you lose so much health, you just get more of it. He would get up to around 1400 shield. And that's just ridiculous. Like that was just way overtuned. It almost made him like, he already started off I think with like 850 or 700 health, and then going in and then you get another 1500 health. It was just ridiculous. He is a bit overtuned. He was fantastic, and there is so much synergy. He allows so many characters to just kind of do what they want. It was a bit messy, honestly, and I do hope that they tone him down. But for sure, I'm putting him as S tier, as honestly, any player could figure him out and just do really well with him. In terms of the higher ranks, I'm not really sure. Surprisingly, I didn't see as many Venoms as I did see the next guy. The next on my list is actually going to be Magneto. Magneto, I have to say this. This guy has to be, in my honest opinion, if you are solo queuing, you can almost solo queue as Magneto and carry. I actually think he was the best tank aside from Venom. He got a buff this time around, and he has just in general a better kit. His shield is really good. He can nullify or pretty much eat up a lot of the entire cast's abilities in terms of their ultimate abilities and whatnot. His shield is essentially, it doesn't have health like Doctor Strange. It's out for time. And although you have it, you do have a cooldown bar with it. You can pop it out. You just can't keep it out for long based on like it has two separate health bars. Basically, it has a timer that would run on the right side of your screen, and that's how long you can keep it out. And then for you to be able to put it out, it was like a couple seconds. And it was just ridiculous because Magneto in general was a really solid tank. Just as a front line, he can eat up a lot of shots. He's really bulky. He also has his bubble where he can essentially bubble himself or your teammate, and which essentially would give you time to either build up your shield, or even if you had Doctor Strange's on your team, you could put your shield out and in order for him to get his shield health back. And then on top of that, he did have a team up ability with Scarlet Witch, and his team up ability just makes Magneto even way more better, because he essentially gets swords and he's able to just kind of throw the swords out every, I think it was like 15 or so seconds. I don't remember the exact timing on it, but I do remember that in the higher ranks, he's always there. He was always a number one pick from my point of view. You could blend him in honestly with any tank and he would just succeed. And I would see a lot of people, and including myself, when I started using Magneto, and I am a tank main by nature, but this time around I played a lot more DPS. But towards my higher up climbs, I used Magneto, and I would essentially just ask for Scarlet Witch, because I know that I could just play him like a DPS and just backline with his swords, and I could just two-shot, all the squishies, like all the DPSs and all of the healers. Like you just get up in them and just two-shot them. And it was pretty free for the most part. So I'm going to put him as S because he was so good. He was so good. Now, my boy Groot. I'm going to be talking about Groot because, sadly, Groot did not have his time to shine. Groot had his walls nerfed this current beta from the current alpha. His health to the walls got nerfed. Other than that, he still felt the same. Now, I would say the number one Groot in the alpha. I was the number one Groot in the world, or if not one of the best ones for sure. I did hit top 500, and I had around 50-something hours with him. I love Groot, and I think I still plan on using him down the road. He was my second or third most used character in this current beta. I think he's really good. And for the people that play Fortnite, funny enough, Groot essentially is basically like playing Fortnite. If you have a good understanding of Fortnite, Groot is like the character for you. The reason that is that, and also if you use Mei from Overwatch, Mei is also like very similar to Groot in terms of, you know, she has her ice walls. Groot has these same effects where he has 3 walls, he has 1 big one, and he has 2 small ones. And honestly, if you play a lot of Fortnite, and I know people are like, oh, is he really talking about Fortnite? Well, hear me out. In Fortnite, the main goal of what you want to do in a lot of build fights is that you actually want to wall people off before engaging. Right when you engage into a fight, you're actually not shooting them. You're actually wanting to build walls around them and control them in a box. And that by nature comes natural to me because I used to play a boatload of Fortnite. And the thing is in Fortnite, that's what you want to do. You want to pull a wall behind someone as they're backing up. And there's a lot of backing up and, you know, going forward. And Groot is really, really good at doing this. But the thing is he was actually very outshined due to Venom in this tier list, or in terms of this beta. Venom doesn't care about his walls. Venom can just kind of leap over everyone and just kind of go for the backline. This beta experienced a lot more dive, and dive was a lot more stronger. Groot still felt, when I played him, he still felt really good, and I would pull him out when they didn't have dive. And when they didn't have dive, he honestly excelled. He's tanky, he hits like a truck if you can hit your shots. I mean, and he's got insane range that catches people off guard. I was swatting Ironmans out of the sky, I was swatting healers on the ground from distances, and he's just really good. And he's also able to just wall off, you know, your opponent and their healers, so that you could take fights. You know, you could essentially create 1v1 fights, and that just came natural to me because of the Fortnite. Sadly, I'm gonna put Groot as a tank. I'm gonna put him in A tier, just because, like I said, the characters that really cared a lot about, you know, diving really excelled, and they just kind of didn't care what Groot wanted to do. And that's kind of a bummer, and I hope that going forward, they do nerf dive to some degree and make it so that everyone's a lot more playable. But in a meta where dive is a thing, Groot doesn't really care, except for the squishy guys, but yeah. All right, so another one on board is Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange still feels pretty good, and I do think he is an overall default tank. Like, if you want to just play tank and you don't, you know, you just kind of want to get an understanding of what a generic tank is, Doctor Strange is definitely the character. I don't know whether to put him in an S tier or an A tier, because this time around, his like card throwing that he has, like his normal attack, for some reason they changed something about it, and it didn't feel as strong as it did in the alpha. I think they nerfed it, if I'm correct, or they did some kind of change to it where it comes out faster, but it does less damage. It's something interesting. Now, one thing I did like about what they did to his shield, though, is that he's able to pop it out like instantly. You could actually do a thing called a buffer. A buffer in games is like where you hold down a button and you use another button, and then whenever you release that button, it essentially allows the button that you're holding down to come out like an unhumanly fast reaction. So what that means is that if I was to like hold his shield, right, with my click, and I am shooting, as long as I let go of my click, essentially, of my shield, he'll drop the shield, shoot, and then put the shield back up the second I put my thing on. And the reason that is that basically my firing shot is already activated before I even release the shield. So he's basically frame oneing, he's just shooting. I do think Strange is a good tank, and I think he was majority in higher levels. He was present. Him and Magneto are a fantastic team up, but when you have Doctor Strange and Venom, it didn't feel as good as I would have liked it to at the higher levels, just because you have one main tank and one off tank. The game plan more or less just kind of felt like out of sync a lot of the times, and I didn't really get to explore that with a lot of good players. So I'm gonna put him at A tier for now. I think that he's A tier. I would like to see, like I said, dive in general just become more equivalent, you know, or lesser of a problem, but I would still like it to be, you know, playable. Penny, I'm gonna put, now this is actually a crazy take. I actually think Penny is way better. Way better than people realize. I'm actually gonna put her at A, and I'm almost tempted to put her at S. I played with my buddy Newt and Newt was just so good at this character, and I kind of wanted to know why. Now on offense, she can be okay, but she's not as good as other characters at offense. But on defense, she was actually phenomenal because of her minds and her ability. She just got a buff in general to her, like a lot of things this time around, and I think a lot more people explored with her. One thing that was really surprising to me was her, sorry, I'm yawning here because I'm tired. I just got done with a really crazy shift at work. One of the things that she actually did that I found to be very problematic was she has her web up ability, where she, every like 2 or 3 seconds, you could shoot a web out, and that would actually freeze your opponent. Now this actually hard counters dive really well, because when for instance, if a Venom wants to dive and you know he's just about to activate his E ability, you could web him up and basically keep him from being able to do anything at all. And as long as you're hosing him as a team, you will chew him up really fast. So doing that move and hitting him with it, around like, a second or two before, he gets to like the 300 health range, was really good. Now, I actually found it where if you were able to hit that consistently, it was crazy, because she is one of the only characters in the game that actually has a slightly, good, consistent freeze move that would enable you from doing a whole lot while you're still able to attack her. There's a lot of characters in this game, for instance, like Hulk. Hulk shoots his like gamma shot, and if you're hit by that, you're just like, you're immobile and you can't be attacked and you can't move. You're just sitting there, and you're on a time strain. Like, you're just sitting there. It's almost like you're non-existent on the game. Like, even if you're on payloads, you don't even, like, the payload will move if you're stunned. With a lot of these, like, invincible, like, immobile moves that a lot of this game has, she doesn't do that. She just traps you with a web for like a couple seconds, and you're completely immobile. I was very shocked at how good she was, so I'm putting her at A. I wouldn't put her at S, but I definitely would say, in terms of, if people explore with her more, and as other characters get nerfed, she will rise, because she just can disable people. It's crazy. Next on the list is going to be Thor. Thor was actually, at first I thought he was really mid. At first I thought he was really bad. And as I went on, I found out that Thor is actually a crazy buster. Like, this guy could actually, I'm almost tempted to put him at S, just because, like, honestly, as I started to dabble with him, he has like Magneto's sword ability built into him, like just straight up built into him. And when you actually add Storm to the mix, he actually becomes faster. He is a brawler, but the thing is getting close in with characters is kind of scary. With a good team, he's actually super scary because of how strong he is. His ability and the way he works is that, like, he has this F ability where he throws out like lightning bolts. Okay, he like just throws out lightnings, like he just throws them out for a short period of time. And you have a cooldown. You have to build up the 3 hammers to do that. Now, if you charge in with his, hammer, spin to, dash in, or if you throw his hammer, that wastes one of your tokens. Now, here's the thing. When you use that ability, as long as you're at close range, you have this other ability, which is like a bubble. And if there's an enemy in that, it recharges you. So what you could do is you could essentially go in or jump in, right? And dive in and then like use that ability. Now, in terms of solo climbing, I was quite shocked on how good he was, because like if you don't have a Magneto and Scarlet Witch, he was slightly an alternative that people started to catch on to. I did see a lot of people at higher level at the tournaments starting to actually use Thor a lot, and I was wondering why. And it's because a lot of people use Storm, and in general, he actually was a lot better than I thought. He's like Hulk, but just better. He's literally like Hulk, but just way more better, because you would do your F ability, throw these lightning bolts out, and then you would just essentially put the bubble out, recharge yourself, throw more abilities out, and then you have Storm that helps you recharge, and then you throw more of them out, and he's just hitting so hard. He hits really hard like a truck. Like, his F ability is nearly as strong as Magneto's swords, his team up swords, and he's built in. So I'm gonna put him in front of Groot, honestly. I think he was a really good tank that I really thought he was bad at first, and as I started to explore with him and I saw other people, he was actually a lot better than I thought. I'm tempted to put Strange. You know what? I'm actually going to put Strange in front of him. I think Strange was internally, I think he's just the best overall tank next to these two, and these two were a bit over-tuned this time around. But in terms of, yeah, I think this is the lineup for the tanks, and this is where I'm going to sit with this. All right, next on the list, we're going to go into the DPS. Scarlet Witch, I'm going to straight up put her at B. I actually don't think she is that great at the higher levels. I do think she's good. She's decent, and she's really good for the lower level, like players that want to, like, you know, grind and have a good time. The only thing is that Magneto is really had his prime when she's there, but her as a character, I do think that there are so many other characters that just do what she could do better. I know this is a hot take, and it's crazy because, you know, it's just her damage output isn't as good as other characters. She has this ability where she can consistently, you know, she's kind of like Moira. She's, you know, she can consistently hit you from a good solid range, and it's consistent damage. It's not very fast, but you have this other ability where you would use your right click, essentially, and you're throwing these magic dagger style stuff, like these magic, like, you know, explosive things, and those are really good, and you would essentially build up the meters whenever you use them by doing consistent damage. One player I saw in particular, I think his name was Skinny Lad Chris. He was a phenomenal Scarlet Witch, and I saw that he was using it, and every like frame one that he got a chance, he was buffering his throw so that it would do consistent damage. I just think that at a competitive level, I don't think Scarlet Witch is really there right now. I think she's good, she's okay, but there were just other characters that just did so much better. Next on my list is Black Panther. Okay, so Black Panther in the right hands is scary good. Very, very, very good. Everyone was wrong about this character as I thought they were, but at a higher level, it's still just really hard to cook with him in a tournament concept. I did see some higher ranked players using him, but he needs absolute coordination. I'm gonna put him, honestly, I'm gonna put him at B for now. I'm not gonna put him as the lowest rank. I'm just gonna put him at B. I think he is good, but I think in general his kit still is lacking just a little bit. They need some kind of system where he has some kind of explosive effect. One thing I do think that they got wrong with this character, and it's going to be related to Hulk, is he does damage output. He does more damage output the more damage he is. So like the lower health he has, the more damage he does. And although that's cool, it's really hard to cook because you almost want to like thread the needle at being like hurt and damaging people. And it's like you have to be in fights and just not get hit. That's the hard part. I would like that type of effect, which is technically like a rage. I would like Hulk to have that because Hulk doesn't have a rage effect, and it's the Hulk. The thing is the Black Panther works on vibranium kinetic energy. And although in the movies, you know, and other things where he gets hit by things, he can expel that energy, and that's really solid. But I just don't think right now, like, he doesn't have that. He just has his spear, he has his spin, and he has his dash. He doesn't really have that way to expel that energy, and I don't know. So I do think he's good. I think he's really good, and he can be problematic, but he still just needs a lot of work. Granted, I know some top number one players are using him, but in terms of competitive, I don't think he's there yet. Next on the list is Magik. Now, Magik, I'm actually going to put at A. And this is weird because Magik and Black Panther are still somewhat one and the same. The difference is that she gets like shield when she starts to cook, and she has crazier range, and she doesn't get as punished for missing as much as Black Panther does. I'm gonna put her at A because at higher levels, I saw that magics were always around every corner, and whenever there was a good magic, they always were like the MVP. It was insane. I couldn't understand what it was, but if you have a good healer with a good diving magic or a flanking magic, she's just phenomenal. She cooks hard, she hits hard. Her consistent damage output is just ridiculous. So next on the list is going to be Hela. Hela is, in my honest opinion, the best of the best. This is in the DPS order, by the way. She is absolutely just the best DPS. You can honestly, anyone that can pick this character up and just slay out. They did nerf her long range ability, where it was like long range damage, so she's not supposed to do as much damage at longer range. But in all honesty, I just don't think that was enough. She's way too she's just way too strong. There are some people that you just almost felt like it just didn't feel fair. You can't poke out. Now, I am an Iron Man main and a Punisher main during this beta. Those were the two characters I played the most. And believe me when I tell you, I'm a very, very, very smart player. I'm an extremely smart player when it comes to taking cover, peek shotting, you know, from my Halo background, and just understanding the fight scenario. And I would make Hela's work for it, man. I would make Hela's work for it hard. But man, I'm telling you, if you don't have a consistent healer that can just always have your back, dude, Hela's will put in the work, man, and they can be lethal. They can literally shut down any character at any time, as long as they're hitting shots. She almost felt like she could solo carry. She almost felt like she could solo carry a lot, just because, you know, I don't know, she's just so good. Honestly, man, I think that they need to nerf her. They need to nerf her damage output, or make her shoot slower. She's one alternative that I thought would be really good is actually make her shot a projectile and not a hit scan. I think that would keep her damage, but make it projectile. Make it so that you really have to lead. Because, you know, you're throwing daggers. How is daggers hitting from point A to point B like a hit scan? It just doesn't make sense. If they were to keep her damage output, maybe slightly tweak it and just make it so you have to lead. You know, kind of like how Storm has it. It doesn't make sense how she can throw a dagger out and it hit across the map like a snap of a finger, like hit scan. Like, it's just instantaneous. It's just instant, right? But then you have Storm, where she's throwing lightning discs or lightning bolts, and there's travel time. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's lightning. It's light. Like, how is that not hitting from point A to point B instantly, you know? So I would change this about her, honestly. It just feels she's just too busted. Next on the list is Iron Man. I'm gonna say Iron Man's S tier, and I use this character. This character is bonkers. He's really good, and he's consistent this time around. He got buffs to his damage on his overdrive and other things. And when you have a Hulk team up, oh my god, he gets gamma radiation now. He no longer has to work in the sense that gamma radiation, like you used to have to shoot the Iron Man in the sky. Now he just permanently has it a part of him. Every time he goes into overdrive, anything he shoots just has double damage output and double the radius. His unibeam, I had a 72 kill game with this guy with 61 unibeams. And here's the thing. Everyone thinks that you have to sit back with Iron Man and just shoot. That's actually the wrong way to play him. He's actually an assassin. He's really good at taking high ground, flanking, getting good damage output, or just antagonizing the back line. And then if you get a kill, it's a big reward, right? And if you don't, it's okay, because you can just fly back out. Like, you can take off angles in the sky around buildings that other people cannot. And it's honestly crazy how good his mobility is. He can almost have instant, like, infinite flight, because you have your gas chamber, you have your gas tank of, flying. And then when you go into overdrive, you get all of that back, and all of his stuff is infinite whenever you go into his overdrive, which is his damage booster. He's just ridiculous, and honestly, he beats Scarlet Witch, he beats Storm, like, he beats a lot of characters when you cut them off. He destroys dive. I mean, I was always just I didn't ever really feel like Venom was a problem when I used when I used Iron Man. And whenever I had damage output, he's just attacking my backline. I'm just beaming him, and no one's bothering me. The only time I really got bothered was essentially by Hela's. I mean, Punisher could even sometimes go toe-to-toe with the Punisher. If you catch a Punisher off guard, or, you know, if they don't have their shotgun out in time, you could really go to town with him. Iron Man this time around was fantastic, and as an Iron Man main, and I didn't think that I would be an Iron Man main, but as time went on, it just felt like his damage output, his double damage, felt like Punisher's double damage a lot of the time, but more mobile. And that was really nice, especially when you can get like 3 or 4 times damage with the gamma boost. Oh my god, he was a glass cannon, man. This dude could hit hard. So yeah, basically we're gonna put that back there. Next on the list was Punisher. I think Punisher actually was phenomenal, and I'm gonna put him in front of Iron Man. I also used Punisher a lot during my climb, and I try not to use characters like Punisher because I like to explore, you know, in alphas and betas, I like to explore a lot more of the game. And to be honest, Punisher, although he is like the Call of Duty character, this time around, he just felt like really good. They did nerf his infinite ammo with Rocket, which didn't really feel like a whole lot. It didn't really feel like they changed the timing on it. But his damage output, everything else about him never got touched. He has actually some crazy good advanced techniques. Although he's not a mobile character, there are some ways of playing him in an advanced way where you can use grapple hooks essentially to like string yourself across the map. And if you jumped ahead of time before touching the end of the grapple hook, it would fling him and you could carry that momentum. And it was just ridiculous because it almost makes it so that he can travel like as good as Spider-Man can at times. The thing is that his shotgun was really inconsistent. His shotgun sometimes felt like it hit like a fucking truck, but there were times where it felt like he hit like it was a Nerf gun. It just didn't feel consistent. But I will say, in general, the character overall is consistent. His damage output for just comp was really good. A lot of higher players, like I believe Gale, didn't think that he was really good and competitive, which I found to be really crazy because I thought it was the other way around. I thought he was great. I mean, he just lays down consistent fire, and if you can hit shots, he is a beam. One thing that I found was really good was that you can just constantly shoot your AR, swap to shotgun, just blow through the competition if they got close. One thing you could do as well is you could use your stun grenade to like push you away. You would have a pushback where you fire it and it pushes you back like a flint knock. And basically it pushes you back and separates you from getting dove on. This was really helpful because whenever someone was trying to use their, you know, ultimate abilities, and there's a lot of like big, like, you know, area of effect abilities for ultimates, it was able to, like, I was always able to like push myself away from it and then turn around and like grapple hook out if I needed to. Just in general, he was a solid counter. There were times where I'd get dove by like a Spider-Man. Same thing with Iron Man, where Spider-Man just kind of like came in and just obliterated me. And it's just because, you know, their movements were so good, you know. So I do think he's S tier, and I'm gonna solidly say that, yeah, I think he's really good. And yeah. Next on the list is Star-Lord. I am gonna put Star-Lord. This is a bad take. I don't think Star-Lord is very good. I think with good aim, he is solid, and I saw some pretty good Star-Lords. I just don't think he serves the team a lot. I don't know, man. I don't know what it was about him. His mobility now got changed where you're able to fly, like, and you have a gas tank on your flight, and your cooldown on your flight was like 1 or 2 seconds. So it was kind of cool that you could use it and then reuse it and then reuse it and reuse it, right? As long as you had like gas in the tank, you could do it, and the gas tank recharges. I don't know, like I felt like a lot of newer players really like him because of his ultimate ability, but it was just like, it felt like all the time, like every time he's on the map, I just felt like everyone that used him just never performed. They never performed, it never felt impactful, and it was really frustrating because he's just a close range shooter when you think about it. Punisher kind of just does what he does kind of better. And if not, you know, I don't know. Iron Man could do the same things that Star-Lords can do, but but long range. So I just don't think he's good. And this is a really bad take, but this is my take. I just don't think that Star-Lord is great. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this. And that's fine. I'd be generous by putting him at B. I do think that he's next to Scarlet Witch, maybe. I definitely think he's better than Black Panther. But I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. I'll be generous. I'll give him B. But I'm really tempted to put him in C. So next on the list is Spider-Man. Spider-Man was probably my most hated hated character in the entire beta. This character didn't really receive any changes from the alpha to the beta. But because Venom is in the picture, he actually got a slight buff because he got an ability team up. Now, I genuinely hated playing against Spider-Mans, and here's the reason why. Although Spider-Man is a fun character and he's really hard to use, and a lot of people made the claim that he's not good and he's so hard to use, but I'm gonna be honest. Once you figure him out and you understand his movement capabilities, he's not hard to use. He was really frustrating, to say the least. I mean, when he popped off and when he was annoying, he was absolutely gut-wrenching, frustrating to have against you. When your teammates had him on your team and they didn't perform, he didn't feel like he served a purpose. He was either the most glass tank or glass cannon character in this entire beta, or he wasn't. He either was or he wasn't. Like, it just really didn't feel good. It didn't feel fun to play against him, and it didn't feel good to have him on your team because he just added, like, you tell people swap off and people were stubborn. The problem with though is that he has 3 swings, and the swings are almost, there's like no cooldown on them. So like he can pretty much do what Magik or what Black Panther can do, but better. And it's just like with less work. Black Panther has to like grind and use his whole kit out to essentially get like a couple of kills, if not 1 kill, right? Spider-Man is like, he's kind of cheeky and he's very lore, accurate. He's annoying. He gets in, he gets out, gets in, gets out, gets in, gets out. And I even had a debate with one of my friends about it because Spider-Man could just dive the back line pretty much for free because his swings, his mobility is just the best. He could dive a backline and dive a healer, and the problem was that you essentially could bait out your healers to pop their ultimates really early on to survive. And at the lower ranks, this was a problem because lower rank players will feel obligated. Like they'll feel like, oh, I don't want to die, and they will pop their ults a lot of the time. And the thing is Spider-Man wins that scenario in all aspects. And the reason that is that you basically dive in, you scare your opponent into using their ultimate, and he wins the fight because now he can just leave. He now leaves, and it makes you as a teammate use such a valuable resource to the team, and he gets no consequences. It's honestly problematic for me. Now at the higher levels, I didn't see him as much, just because he is very delicate. But the problem though in general is that he's just frustrating, and I think he's way overtuned. His combo, like you would dive in, you could swing across the map, swing onto an opponent, and the problem is that you would shoot one web, right? A one web combo, once you hit someone with your web blast, that guarantees you to get a free hit confirm, where you basically get to press your E, and that pulls you in to the opponent. And when you do that, you can activate your Hadouken, it's like a launch up, kind of like in a fighting game aspect. He has this like a Hadouken, like this dragon punch where he lifts you up, right? With his, he uppercuts you. And that stuns you for a second, and it does a lot of damage, and you get 2 of them. And here's the thing, while he's doing all of this, he also has a double jump, which is really annoying because it makes him a really hard target to hit. So you basically fly in, web blast, zip line into them, dragon punch them, and then you can pretty much punch them or do anything because they're stunned. Keep in mind, when someone's low health like a healer, you could do that Hadoken and it's a free kill. It does like 100 damage or something. Like, I don't even know. Like, if I saw a healer at half health, I knew it was a guaranteed kill. And I knew right off the rip, all I had to do was hit him with a web blast, zipline, and Hadoken. And that was it. On top of that, you have Venom's team up ability, which turns him into a symbiote. And he basically turns into this big symbiote explosion looking like ball that kind of like does area of effect and it does pushback. That could finish like anyone off, a squishy off so instantly. So in general, I think Spider-Man's far overtuned. He has too many swings. His swings are way too fast. If he doesn't get the combo on you, like for instance, I was talking about, like, you know, if he doesn't get the combo on healer, it's whatever. He just retreats, leaves and retreats, you know, like dives in, retreats, dives in, retreats, dives in. And then finally he'll get the best of you. He'll make you pop your ult. He'll make you do whatever he wants. He'll kill you. And it's just really frustrating to fight against. I do hope that they tone him down, maybe give him more health, and allow him to stay in the fight a little longer, but tone him down in terms of how much damage and how much mobility he has. I'm gonna put him in the front of A. I'm gonna put him in front of the tanks. I'm gonna put him in front A. He is the best, I think, best A for a DPS. And yeah. Next on the list is Storm. Storm is crazy good too, because Storm, she actually apparently I think had the highest win rate of any hero in the entire beta. And it's crazy because she doesn't seem like she's that good, but as a team, she allows you to have double damage and everything. I don't want to put her at S tier. I do think in the right team up comp, she's great. I think she's right behind. Not a lot of people used her. She doesn't give crazy damage output. She does allow your team to have crazy damage output, and you also are able to move your, you know, she has like this area of effect where she basically moves you and your team faster. It's kind of like Lucio, where you kind of teeter between speed or damage boosts, and it's within this vicinity, right? In terms of her ultimate, on the other hand, one of the best ultimates in the game, in my opinion. You can kill her out of it, but the fact that you're able to just move it to wherever you want and just kill instantly is really frustrating. There's a lot of characters that have trouble getting out of it. I am actually, you know what? No, I'll put her. No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna stick to my guns on what I said about Spider-Man. But Spider-Man is like an anomaly. In terms of competitive, she's higher than him. But in terms of an actual character, I would say a lot more people used him and were more frustrated with Spider-Man. In terms of comp, she's great. I still don't necessarily know where she's at, but I did see a lot of people using her in Thor. I do maybe think that Thor, in terms of competitive, Thor and Storm are an absolute dream team on a competitive team. But I didn't watch a lot of the tournament as much as I would have liked. So for now, this is where I'm going based on just playing the rankings and just seeing what I've seen. Basically, we're going to go right now into healers. Loki, I just think Loki's not good. I don't think Loki's good at all. He didn't really feel like that impressive this time around. He got nerfed, I think. Like, a lot of his stuff just kind of got nerfed. I think his clones, the statues, felt like a lot less impactful this time around. And you still have to hit your shots with him, but you have to set up with him. He's really only good when you have all the turrets out. And the diamond that sits above his head when you use the healing thing, I think that itself is like, it was like weaker this time around. So it was a lot easier to kill off his healing stuff. I don't think he's that great. I'm going to put him at the lowest. And that's all I'm going to say on him. I just don't think Loki's that great. Luna Snow, I still think is the best healer. If not, she's one of the best. But I'm going to put her there. I noticed that her ultimate is probably the best ultimate, and hands down, I'm just going to put her there because, yeah, I just think she's great. She also has the ability to freeze people if hit right, so when people are diving you, she doesn't have the ability to get away, but she does have an ability to stop you in your tracks and then run away. In general, I think she's only the best healer. Or sorry, you know what? I'll take that back. I don't think she's the best healer. I think she's the best. She has the best ultimate, and that ultimate alone is just too good to want to like not. You know, you just want that ultimate. It lasts forever. Her healing output is pretty good. Her kit's decent. She just doesn't have a lot of escape options, and her mobility isn't as good as I'd like it to be. But next on my list, I'm still gonna put Rocket as the best healer. I think Rocket is still the #1 healer. He has mobility, he has damage, he has good heals that you can honestly heal from any direction. You can bounce his orbs in every direction. He heals everyone in general. My only gripe about him is that he heals himself too easily. And the problem is that if he's taking a lot of damage, he'll heal himself before he can heal his team a lot of the time. Because when you shoot, the orb slows when it's near something that needs to heal. It'll heal him before it heals anyone else. But in general, I think he is a better healer than Luna. I think Luna was a good healer, but she has a better ultimate than him. But his ability to revive teammates at full HP is just so good. And the fact that they can get back into the fight every, you know, I think it was like originally 20 seconds during the alpha, you could do that. Now it's like, I think 30 or 40 seconds. Just in general, his ability to revive is so good. I think his heals is really good. Anyone can really, I think he's the overall best healer for anyone to pick up. You can be any level of player. He is probably the best go-to. At higher levels, I was always happy to see a Rocket on my team, especially because of the team-up ability with Punisher. I mean, just alone, Punisher able to have infinite ammo and double damage output is crazy. So I just think Rocket was just great. I am so indifferent about Adam Warlock. I don't think Adam Warlock was a good healer. I felt that he, in terms of heals, just never offered anything other than a revive. And the revive, everyone like revives with like 100 health. If your healer isn't ready to heal everyone, they're gonna just die off spawn. And that sucks. It's really rough. He's able to revive people, and his heals aren't the worst. My problem with playing him or having him on my team was that I would play like an off character. For instance, I'd play Iron Man. And when they use their chain ability, where basically it chains you essentially to your other teammates. So for instance, if a tank is taking damage, everyone else receives damage. There was like this weird thing. I would be like Iron Man, and they won't heal me ever, right? And it'd be so frustrating because if you're not getting heals, like, because you're off in your own area, Iron Man's, you know, your job is to really go and get health packs. It's not really, you know, a lot of the time it's really good to know where your health packs are as Iron Man because he has such good mobility. The thing is Adam Warlocks take health from you when you're not even in the fight. I'll be off in an off angle shooting, and then next thing you know, I'm taking just absurd damage because my tank is taking damage. And for some reason, I'm so far from them, right? And I'm just taking this damage. The next thing you know, a Hela looks at me and just shoots me once because I'm at 100 health and I didn't even do anything. And it's just like, I'm even more weaker than I need to be for a fight that I'm not even in. Does that make sense? And it just sucks because, like, I think that Adam Warlock kind of hurts dive as well as he kind of is supposed to help dive, because when you shoot with him, he feels like a sniper. He hits hard. A lot of people really like to charge up that ability where he, you know, shoots a lot at once. I actually found that the other click where you just shoot one shot out that was better. As long as you could hit your shots, it kind of like felt like Hela almost at times. I could be wrong about this, but he felt like Hela, but as a healer. The thing is if you're gonna play Adam Warlock, you really need to have a solid, you know, healer on your team that is able to do a lot for your team, like a dedicated healer, while he's kind of helping with the DPS while someone's diving. It's really weird. I don't know. I was really indifferent about him. His team-up abilities though with Star-Lord and Mantis did feel pretty cool, because Mantis and Star-Lord, although Star-Lord I don't think is great, it's cool when he gets a secondary, you know, revive. Gives him extra, you know, gives them both just abilities to revive themselves and be presence on the map a lot of the time. And that's really frustrating because, like, his team up passive is just good. I just don't think his heals were great. I don't know. I did have this one scenario though where a teammate during like, this was for my Diamond 3 game, like for me to get into Diamond, I was like, please don't play Adam Warlock. He's just not good. I don't feel like I'm gonna be, you know, getting the help that I need. And he revived our whole team. The ultimate's cool, and he revived our entire team, and we ran back into the fight and stopped the overtime on a Loki payload, and we clutched it up, and it was just ridiculous. I'll be uploading that game later because that was just insane. But the fact that we were able to come back and fight the fight that we did, it was so clutch. And it was one of the craziest clutch moments I've ever seen from an Adam Warlock. And the guy shut me up for sure when I said that. Because, so you really don't think I should play him? And I was like, I still don't think so, but yeah, you touche on that one, guy. Touche. But yeah, I don't think he's great. I'm going to keep him at B, so that is that. Oh, sorry. I actually forgot about Namor. Namor got buried on the back of this list. Namor is a DPS. Really, 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 really good this time around. I actually thought he was one of the best damagers in the current beta. He was so frustrating to fight against just because of his turrets. Turrets got a massive upgrade. They come out so much earlier, and they absolutely hard counter dive. It was ridiculous how good Namor this time around was. His damage output was great. Consistency was great. Really frustrating to fight against, and there were times where I just had a hard time playing against them, especially as a tank. When you don't have DPSs just, you know, focusing on his turrets. God, man, tank players, you're gonna hate that. I'm not gonna say much more than that. He just, in general, was well-rounded, and I could see him outshining Hela if she ever gets nerfed. So next on the list is gonna be Jeff. Jeff, I don't think is good. I don't think his Jeff is good. I think Jeff is like Protect the President. If you've ever played the game Protect the President, the whole premise is that you are the Secret Service, and it's like a dodgeball game where you have to throw a dodgeball at someone in the center of a circle. And the goal is that you have Secret Service that protects the president. Here's the thing: if you protect Jeff, he is an insanely good healer. He's so good. The problem is that you have to protect him. It's like you just have to make sure that he just doesn't die, because he keeps you really well healed. He has bubbles that give you great heals. They give you like 100 or 200, I think, per bubble that you touch. And if you're in his vicinity, like, he's just really good. I think he's better than Loki, but I just think that he's so squishy. He's so squishy, and he's interesting. But yeah. Next on the list is Mantis. I think Mantis this time around was honestly just so good. She had a lot going for her. She got buffed from the previous, and I think she does outshine Luna. Luna had the better ultimate, but Mantis had the better heals. You know what? I take this back. I'm gonna say Luna is like A tier. I don't know. Like Mantis, it's a toss-up. You know what? No, I'll stay true to what I'm saying here. I think these three are the best healers. I would be happy to see either one of them, but Mantis overall, bravo, whatever they did to her. She can heal really well, and she can sleep you. She can put you in a sleep, and as long as you don't touch that person with you know, when they're asleep, they stay asleep for a while. Her only problem is that she doesn't have good mobility. Same thing like Luna. They don't have good mobility. So the problem is that, I mean, she does do like some kind of, you know, speed boost, but it just didn't feel, I don't know. She's good. I just think Rocket was still better, but in general, she has a Luna ult. It's just a toss-up between Mantis and Luna. Both felt great. Both felt good. I still think Rocket was just in general better for the overall team, but that's just my take. All right, so now we're gonna go through basically the team up abilities. I'm gonna go through these fast. I'm going to say the Hela, Thor, and Loki combo wasn't very good. I think that this was just bad because Hela just relies on getting a pick, and it was so scenario based that it would revive like a teammate. I don't know. It just doesn't feel that good. Where Hela or Loki has to get a hit on something, and they have to get the final hit in order to revive a character. I almost never saw it happen. I had only ever seen it twice, and I just didn't think it was that great. In terms of this is absolute S tier. Magneto and Scarlet Witch, without a doubt, you could run these two and just solo carry teams. And kudos to Victorian. I met this guy during the beta. Him and the guy Skinny Lad, they were just a duo. They solo climbed just playing duos with just these two. They had, honestly, and I'm going to be interviewing them tomorrow, so I'm really excited to bring that. I'm going to be talking to them about their climb, but they actually inspired me about this. This combo is so menacing and so good. Even though Scarlet Witch, I don't believe, was the greatest character, just alone, it's so worth putting it on there because Magneto just becomes a whole nother animal. Next on the list is going to be Groot and Groot, Rocket, and Jeff. I don't think this is good. I would argue that maybe I don't know. I think that these two are just bad. Rocket or him on Groot's back just felt bad because half the time Rocket or Jeff, they just die on his shoulders. You're usually going for headshots anyways, and it just increases the hitbox even more. So I don't think it's that good. It gives Groot like a damage resistance. I just don't think it was good. I don't know. It's just me. The Symbiote's team-up abilities. I think this was really good. I think this was like A tier. And it was only really A tier for, honestly, Spider-Man and Venom. It made Spider-Man really, really, really good, and I just don't see it any other way. I don't know. I don't think it's S tier. It's good. It's not the best. It does give Spider-Man and, Penny, essentially, damage resistance, but I don't know. It just didn't feel. I don't know. Aside from the one-shot combo that Spider-Man has, yeah. This one, the team up between Iron Man and Hulk. Now, although Hulk and Iron Man, I really enjoyed the comp. Whenever you did get a Hulk on your team, Iron Man just becomes another animal. This is actually S tier, without a doubt. Without a doubt. This damage output was scary good. I hope they don't change it because it was so fun. Not much more than needs to be said. I did some testing with Doctor Strange, and I didn't feel like the Gamma really helped him all that much in comparison. But, dude, the Gamma boost to Iron Man is godlike. This is just so good. This right here, honestly, was just so good. This, anytime I saw it on the team, I didn't even hesitate. Rocket and Punisher. Rocket and Punisher, honestly, they honestly, the double damage, same thing goes for Iron Man. I do think that I think it's better than the Iron Man and Hulk just because of how often you would see it. Now, I had a debate with my friend about this because he said that he thought that the damage output, I thought the Iron Man Gamma was better than the Punisher because essentially you felt like you had that damage output that Punisher does with his Infinite, with Rocket, but you were more mobile. But I will have to say, Punisher being behind the tanks with this felt more consistent just because you have more cover. It felt scary. I mean, the fact that you're able to use the shotgun and that was just ridiculous. Black Panther and Magik, I almost never saw this. This has to be the lowest ranked one out of anything. This one, I just didn't see it as good. It just didn't feel good. It never felt like it was ever happening. All you do is teleport. It just gives them a teleport. That's it. And it's like a Doctor Strange teleport. You just teleport from one side to the other. It's like, I don't know. Who cares? This one here felt pretty good. I'm gonna actually put this at A tier. This is the Mantis, the Atom, and the Mantis, Atom, and the Star-Lord. This did feel good when it happened because it put a lot of presence on the map. And honestly, it was a pretty good team up, although I didn't always agree with the Star-Lord on the team. I was always happy to see a Mantis on the team, but I didn't want to see an Adam Warlock. The problem though is that although you had an Adam Warlock and Mantis, you didn't feel like you were getting good heals a lot of the time with those two, but you were able to revive Mantis a lot, which was pretty decent. So I'll put it at A. It was problematic at times just because no one ever kept track of their spawns. Next on the list is going to be Luna, Snow, and this. I'm actually going to give this a solid A tier. And the reason that is that, like, I genuinely think A tier this is the best A tier, without a doubt. This was just really good. Like, this was really good just because Luna helps. Luna helps out Namor a lot, and honestly, it's just a good time. Like, I mean, honestly, it's just you get an additional turret. He does, it does freeze damage. It slows an enemy. It's just good. So I think that this is good. It's also unlocked Jeff's extra ability where he could freeze people. That was super unexplored. No one even tried to do that. I don't even know why. Like, that was really good. You could literally freeze people, like, kind of like May. So that was pretty good. And last but not least, I'm going to put this at B, only because I don't really know much about it. I didn't really get to see a lot of Thors, and like, I didn't see Thor, and this one just doesn't feel like it's on the map. You don't see it. You don't feel it or see it. Even though that they're on a team together, it didn't feel impactful. It just felt like Thor was always going crazy. And it gives Storm an additional ability where she's able to do like more damage, and that chains through things. So like if there's an enemy stacked up like bowling pins, like she would zap them and it would transfer out, and that was cool. And it helps recharge Thor. It just didn't feel there all the time. I don't know. I didn't see this as often. I just didn't see it as a thing. If I saw Thor on the team, I just saw Thor on the team. If I saw a Storm on the team, I see a Storm on the team. I know that this isn't bad, but for now, I'm gonna keep it at B. So I'm gonna get going and head to bed, you guys. So that's the end of this video. So yeah.
Hey, you made it to the end of the video. If you guys can, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.